Sports View London boxing news for the capital city, joined by Martin Murray's business manager, Andrew Mikhail. Firstly, thank you for joining us today, Andrew.
Welcome, thanks for having me.
Martin's fight with Gennady Golovkin confirmed for February 21st in Monte Carlo. How easy was that fight to make?
To be honest with you, it was always going to be on the cards. We were looking for it for December next year, but we couldn't get everything together. So what I wanted for Martin was some warm-up fights, because he'd been out of action for a bit, and going back to the Kamitsky fight, it wasn't too well for a couple of months up before that, but he needed to fight, and obviously had a bit of a breakdown in communications with Hatton Promotions, in particular Richard Boxing, not so much Ricky. And things kept on collapsing, fights kept on collapsing, so Martin went a bit stagnant. And that fight, he did well, to be honest with you, against a decent fighter to come through it. So, well, because he wasn't too good. So I asked him for warm-up fights with Rodney Berman. He did exactly what I wanted, and what Martin wanted was warm-up. And he's progressively, I'm sure you'll agree, got a little bit better with each fight.
Yeah. And did you always have one eye on the Golovkin fight? Because obviously Rodney Berman and Golden Gloves worked closely with co-promote Gennady Golovkin. Was that always a long-term goal?
Oh, Martin's asked me, irrespective of what anybody says, Martin's asked me to make that fight all last year. But you know as well as I do, I need him to make the right money, and he needs the right money for his family. So we needed the right money to be able to do it. And Martin is fully confident, irrespective of what anyone else thinks and says, because there's no doubt about it, that guy's a machine. But Martin, at his best, as we've seen with Stern, with Martinez, in particular, can I just tell you that I think the hardest fight Martin's ever had, and will have, was Martinez in front of 50,000 Argentinians on the eve of the Falklands War.
Most
go into that type of fight, right, that is far more frightening to me than going into an arena with, albeit a great atmosphere, 1,000 people, on basically Martin's home patch. And I know it's not St Helens where he'd always loved to fight, and he's missed out a lot of fighting in the UK over here, but he's been paid well. And as far as I'm concerned, I think the Golovkin fight is an easier atmosphere to fight in than he was with Martinez. Most
definitely, and he's warmed to the. How many fights at Monte Carlo is it now, Andrew?
This is Martin's third. And Golovkin's third.
Yeah, superb. And Golden Gloves have just announced, and Rodney Berman have just announced that the fight will air free on Channel 5, which is very impressive and nice for fight fans.
We've been trying to look at a terrestrial. I've been working hard with Rodney, trying to get a terrestrial deal, because, albeit the job that Hearn does and Warren does on boxing is brilliant for British boxing, and they have both elevated it, and more Hearn in recent times to another level, and it's got boxing back on the track. But I just think, in a way, right, may not pound note-wise for Martin, but in a way, it's a better, more lucrative contract with a terrestrial TV with 4.5 million people watching it, and it helps to catapult him in different ways rather than just cash, because as well as I do, the boxer doesn't see an awful lot of the cash that they get on some of these different shows on the Sky platform, etc. So to us, we just want to be out there on terrestrial TV like the good old days, and I think it's coming back. And it's great for boxing. I'm sure you'll agree that.
I couldn't agree more, and I first hand saw yesterday our Twitter timeline. As soon as the announcement, as soon as we were allowed to actually announce that, everyone on your camp and their camp knew what was going on, and we were officially allowed to announce it.
So when you put that out yesterday, I bet your phone went absolutely crazy because I was tagged into it. My phone just went mental.
I'll tell you what, Andrew. Other than sort of the London stuff we do, where obviously local people are tied in and it goes crazy, that was absolutely unbelievable, and the response from the public, how impressed they were with yourself and Golden Gloves. You know, much admiration. You know, unbelievable.
Yeah, and you know something? You just mentioned Golden Gloves there. It's like a family. When I first was in negotiation contracts with them for Martin, you know, nobody really heard of them, to be honest with you. Everybody has now, and they're growing fast. Nobody really heard of them, and you know, it was a chance that I took with Martin. I spoke to Rodney Burnham and Mike Whitstock, who's good friends with Rodney, involved in Golden Gloves in a big way, and I met some great people over there, and it was a no-brainer. You know, when you saw boxers that they've had for years, who's knocking about them, who still go round and visit them, it was like a big family, and they sold it me on that basis, and they paid us very, very good money, right? Which was life-changing to Martin.
Yeah,
and they're happy to move forward, win, lose or draw, right? We're doing stuff with them now, like it's not even under contract now. We're just doing a fight-by-fight basis. They know Martin's got no intention, right, of ever leaving them, never, because they've done everything they've said. They've paid him every time they said they're going to pay him. Never had an issue. Why would you go? Martin's enjoying himself better than he ever has done in boxing,
definitely,
ever, and that's what he needs to do.
That's quite a rare commodity in boxing. This is more of a dog-eat-dog business and people delaying payments, etc. That's quite a rare thing to hear. What you just said there, Andrew. To be honest, it's
Well, you know, and I know, I'm no big boxing promoter. I've not got 25 years experience in boxing. My time in boxing is quite limited, and I run different businesses. But I'll be honest with you, it is the limited time I've been involved in boxing, the most stressful job I've ever had, because you can't. And I'm not doing this right across boxing and tying everyone with the same brush, but the handshake, you know, of deal done doesn't exist anymore.
No.
People moving the goalposts, changing the money, not paying you this, not paying you that. It's disgraceful. Yeah. But we're dealing on a business level now, and the sort of level that Martin's at, you know, it can't be handshakes anymore with anybody. But believe it or not, the deals that I have with Golden Gloves, they're handshakes.
Yeah.
End of. You know what they say they're going to do, they do it, and that's what I love about it. But I've dealt with other people in the past boxing, and I tell you what, I think some of these young kids, and that's why Rodney Byrne's, you know, looking at the English boxing side of it and thinking to himself, well, there might be a bit of an avenue here. You know,
most definitely.
Because some of these kids, you know, he's got platforms far bigger than Sky in South Africa. He's got Monte Carlo, and he's looking to put some shows on in the UK. So you can imagine, this man's got some serious power that can take English boxers to South Africa to warm them up, take them to, if they make the grade, you know, take them to Monte Carlo and put shows on in the UK. I mean, it's really exciting. You know, I'm looking forward to see what pans out with Rodney, because, you know, I'm working quite well with him, and other avenues are opening every day.
Most definitely, and he seems to have moved the goalposts in a venture in Monte Carlo. You know, who'd have ever thought there'd be a world title fight there? You know, it's absolutely it's refreshing for the game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is one of the biggest fights of 2015, and can you imagine, right, Martin beating Gennady Golovkin? What's going to happen? You know, and in his mind, Martin, there is no doubt, and in my mind, there is no doubt he can do it. This guy, you know, that we have to look at him, don't we? And look at. I don't want this to be just a talk on Golovkin. I know that's what you and everyone else wants to talk about, but the guy's a machine, knocking people out for fun. But Martin has had 2 world title fights before, and I'm sure you'll agree, very unlucky on both occasions.
Most definitely. Most definitely, yeah.
So Golovkin hasn't been in with those type of guys. So this is really the exciting part about this is Martin knows he's at that level and fought to that level, and now stronger, right? But Golovkin's never been in those situations, so let's see actually what happens. And it's not Golovkin's fault actually, because he's tried to make him with Tom Loeffler, K2 Promotions, who again, absolute class act to deal with.
Yeah.
But they tried to make him. People have thought to themselves, well, why go in with him? He's knocking people out for fun. He's obviously can punch. He's dangerous. Will he be able to hit Martin with those punches that he's hit everyone else with? Because it's a well-known fact. Martin's got the best defence. Mm-hmm. I don't know anybody with a defence in the middleweight, definitely, as Martin has.
I must say, when the fight was made, and obviously you've seen, Martin's seen, you know, the negativity was pathetic, in all honesty, you know. But as you just said there, you going into new ground with Martin Murray. The man doesn't. You look into Martin's eyes when he's talking to Matthew Macklin and saying, "You were beaten before you even got on the scales." And I think that's the big difference between Martin Murray and everyone Gennady Golovkin has faced before, you know.
Listen, it's a fact really that Matthew and Martin don't get on because of past history and that, and you know that's another exciting time ahead, and hopefully that can be made. Sadly, Darren Barker is retired, and that was one that everyone wanted. But you know, Macklin's another one. But you know, and I know, and everybody knows out there, this lad has no fear. And just to give you a little quick story on this, I said to Martin 12 months ago, and people were saying to him, "You won't fight Golovkin, you won't do this, you won't do that," and he's laughing. And I said to him, "What are you laughing at?" He said, "You know what? These people, right, are saying to me, I'm frightened of getting in the ring with him. I've been brought up in an area that we have one person has a fight with three. You know what I mean? Do you think I care about getting in the ring with one person?" Yeah. Still makes me laugh to this day the way he said it to me.
Yeah, I mean, as you rightly said a while back in this interview, you know, to go to Argentina and fight Sergio Martinez in front of 50,000 Argentinians, what is there to fear? You know, he's been there, he's done it, hasn't he? And you know, walking into a ring against the world's best, spitting on him, throwing things at him, you know, doing everything possible to put him off. The guy got in the ring, totally focused, knocked him down 2 separate occasions. All right, the second one didn't get counted as a knockdown, but I think the second one hurt Martinez more than the first one. Definitely.
And that guy needed to pull himself together a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know, if there's any criticism, sometimes I have Martin and says, well, you know, he's there for the taking, but he always has a plan with Oliver, and Oliver doesn't really sometimes want him just to wade in because he knows or he thinks he's head on points and this, that and the other, and they have different plans. And sometimes what we think is from on the screen, I look at times with Martin and say, you know, I think that was it, he could have gone for it, but we see and they see two different things in the ring, these guys. You know, these are warriors. Every single lad who gets in the ring, unbelievable. And we think that they're hurt or just, but you can't take a risk at that level. You can't take a risk and start wading in and with the chance of getting caught with one, because at that level, no matter who you are, one proper clip, you're going no matter what. And that's what Golovkin is not invincible. One clip, he'll be gone.
Yeah, obviously you can't say too much about tactics, etc. Has Martin and Oliver, have they got in their mind what they need to do to beat Gennady Golovkin?
They've been working on Golovkin over 12 months.
Right.
Over 12 months they've been working on him.
And
a lot of his training sessions have involved Golovkin. Listen, it's very difficult, and honestly, I don't want to. Obviously, I'm going to sing Martin's praises, but when you're getting in the ring with people are saying to him, "Oh yeah, another win for Murray, another win for Murray, another win for Murray," he's been, you know, overwhelming favourite in the last 4 fights he's had. You know, the fights which he knows he's going to win, but he doesn't want to take any risks because he knows there's a golden goose coming. He doesn't want anything to jeopardise the fact that he's got a world title fight coming. Definitely. And he knows it's coming. So he's just done the job. But you will see him unload when it's the time, because this could very possibly be Martin's last chance at a world title.
Yeah. I must say, the man, he's due a bit of luck, that's for sure. My God, you know, I've never known such an unlucky fighter in our time. That's for sure.
No, I can second that.
And finally, Andrew, how is Team Murray's mindset going into this fight? You know, you sound very confident, and you know, there's no stone being left unturned. You go into February the 21st in no doubt whatsoever that you'll win that fight.
You know what it should be? Me, what I do with Martin, the work I do with Martin, Oliver, everyone around him, you know, it should be us trying to put confidence into him for this type of fight. My confidence that you hear me speaking about now comes from him.
Right.
He convinces me. He convinces me every single time we talk about it. Not worried the slightest, don't care, not interested. I'll get in with him, I'll show him. You know, he puts pressure on himself. You don't need to put pressure on Martin. You don't need to cheer him up.
Yeah.
He's so determined. And, you know, he's a bit of a weird character because he's just not scared of anything or anyone. He's just like that. And he's very much now family man, but he's got a job to do. He's unbelievable. So his confidence is there. It's not unnatural. I don't think he's ever been cocky. And, you know, I've said to him sometimes, you need to speak out, poke yourself up. He said, I don't need to. I don't need to say this. I don't need to say that. I don't need to big myself up. I just need to do a job. That's how he looks at it.
Yeah. Well, Andrew, thank you very much for your time and for joining us today. Much appreciated.
No, any time, and hopefully we'll talk again